I was about to say happy Thursday out of just habit, but it's actually 11 a.m. on Saturday. I don't know who wakes up normally at this ungodly hour. It is way too early. I think that maybe people should just do what I normally do on Saturday, which is wake up 15 minutes before first post, make coffee, eat breakfast, and then maybe around 2 minutes first post, maybe start capping and put in an early pick five. Man who just absolutely gets anxious anytime I talk about that, Mr. Mark Capitan.
Yeah, but it is. Your ability to handicap an entire pick five and like as they're literally starting to load the gate absolutely baffles me. I just don't know how you do it. I'm the guy that needs to be like 3 days in advance, all prepared, making scratches, tons of notes, and you can just like that. It kills me. I don't know how you do it.
To be fair, I can handicap it while they're loading the gate. I cannot handicap it well while they're loading in the gate. So I mean, there is a little bit of a difference. Speaking of handicapping well, let's bring in Caleb. Mr. Caleb,
you must have got the wrong guy.
Yeah, I mean, you just came in. You came into this pre-stream and you were just like, "I am not a smart man. I do not understand what is going on here." I didn't get a chance to ask you before we got started, but I asked Mark if he had capped the Prairie Meadow sequence yet, and he said that he had not yet. But I was like, you know what? I know who has looked at Prairie Meadows. This is Mr. Caleb Knight.
I actually have not. I will, but I haven't yet.
I already see people talking about drinks. Jay over here saying he needs a drink. Ryan's in here. He said, "Where's the morning whiskey?" Unfortunately, I'm still working on my morning coffee, so I got my. My
is there any
Keeneland
Kahlua in
here.
that coffee?
No.
And some Baileys.
No, I actually have stuff to do today. Like, I really wish that I was just going to be able to DJ all day, but I got some side work I got to go get done. I might be doing what you're doing later, which is hitting up the disc golf course. So, and Andy's working. Andy does a bit of. Well, I don't know if he's taking photos or what he's doing, because I know Andy's a photographer. So,
Jay,
I have to highlight this.
I can kick you out of the stream, Jay.
I know we can't. Mark had time to do his hair.
And Ryan, Mr. BD horse player is recovering from some. I think I can say this, for some minor surgery. He'll hopefully be back next Thursday. He is horizontal and resting for most of the day today. I would imagine degenning some ponies off his phone.
So, I'm going to be a little bit more specific. He said that he's getting like sinus surgery. So I just hope that they made him better looking. I just hope.
Right? It's easy to buy. Just
No, but
he did send me a picture, and he's going to have some pretty epic black eyes and some bruising for a few days. Sinus surgery is rough, and we feel for him. Hopefully, he heals up well and isn't in too bad a shape.
He's going to look like our boy Tommy when he fell down. He fell down and got like a black eye or something. Do you remember? Or broke his nose. Do you remember that picture, Caleb?
I do, yeah.
Of Tom McNamara. Oh man, that was rough.
I thought you were going to say he looked like Paco after he heard it Arad, but
yeah, dude, Andy's just like giving you the play-by-play of exactly what Brian told us earlier today.
Yeah,
so
that's exactly what Brian told us. Waterfall of mucus. He's got a whole thing under his nose. He said that it just like if he sits up at all, it's just a faucet. And it's not that I want to talk about sinus surgery to open up the show, but BD horse player's hurting, and we wish him the best. And hopefully he heals up well, and we'll see him next Thursday.
That's the funny thing about like medical conditions and surgeries is like once you start talking about them on stream, like everyone's like, oh yeah, like I fucked my shit up like this, and like everyone's just ready to go. But yeah, so Charles coming in already saying, anyone struggle with today's card at Belmont?
Yeah.
What, Caleb? You want to tell the people what you told us?
Yeah, like I literally jumped into the chat 5 minutes before we started streaming, and like was talking to Mark, and I'm like, man, like I I got my notebook here, wrote down all my horses I liked, and I have like 5 horses in every race. Like I'm just like I'm not smart enough or rich enough to play like half of what I want to at Belmont today.
Yeah, I'm looking at this and I'm saying, the early pick 5 I think is approachable with a normal human being's budget, but the late pick 5 is just, oh my, those last 2 races are absolutely brutal. I ended up landing on a ton of prices in them, but I feel like I'm sort of fishing for prices because there are such open races, not necessarily that I have super like smart opinions on any horse. So I'm okay doing that, but just understand that I'm fishing and firing a big ticket and hoping to get one through.
Yeah, so Mark, I don't know if there's anything in the early that you kind of wanted to touch on before we get into the cross country again and kind of reevaluate.
I mean, probably race 4 with the Suburban is going to be the race that, is the one that, I don't know, is most interesting in here for probably most people. Again, it is a stake. I had a hard time getting past Dynamic 1, the 5. Now, my real concern, Dynamic 1's past performances, his figures have actually shown that he's the classiest horse in the field. And if he can run his A game, he should be able to, he should be the best horse in this field. He should win fairly easily. My real concern with Dynamic 1 in here is just the pace setup. He definitely needs a setup. And when you're talking a 5-horse field, I don't really know if he gets it. Like, I don't know who ends up, really pressing this pace. There's nobody that I think Untreated probably ends up Untreated ends up on the lead. But Joel can just probably slow this pace down and walk the dog. So, I had a hard time. I always have a hard time with these really short fields where the pace dynamics wonky looking at it, and it's just going to be even more wonky because of the field size. So, I think. I think Dynamic 1 is your most likely winner in here, probably the best horse in the field, but it's going to be interesting to see how some of the tactics play out in that race.
How many times did Mark say dynamic in that, 20-second rant? Talking about pace dynamics, Dynamic 1. I mean, I don't know, Caleb. How did you kind of see?
Oh, I said caffeine hasn't kicked in yet, Josh? Sorry.
Mine has definitely not. I was up till like 4 a.m. last night, just trolling Discord and then playing Aussies for some reason. And then I saw South Korea was going, and I think that was where my degeneracy stopped. So, oh my God, Andy always, dude. Andy, I've fallen for this trap. I've fallen for this trap.
The horse that has
the
never
last
made
2 times.
the front of a front of the race at first call in his entire career. Suddenly today, they're going to go with him. I don't see it, but I mean, if you do, have at it. I think Max Player in here is probably a takeout reducer, but I want to like the horse. He's been around for a while and occasionally sort of shows up, but ugh.
Yeah. I really wanted to make a case for Max Player in this spot. I thought maybe if he ran decently that last time out, but I mean, like, he was off slow and then just didn't do any running. And I know it's probably longer than he wants to go, but I mean, just didn't show anything. And then the Ali Sheba was a race where, Olympiad was all over that play, all over. Was a clear favorite. I think all of us liked Olympiad in that spot. But I mean, just once again, just did no running. Just wasn't interested. And so I don't know. It's easy to look back at the Suburban from last year and the Jockey Club Gold Cup and see, Max Player sitting up close and think hey, maybe this horse does have a little bit of speed, but I don't know. I have a hard time getting there. I do think if you just have balls of steel and want to make that kind of play and try and spice up this early, and I mean, I'm not going to talk anyone off of taking what might be the 4th choice in a 5-horse field. So, but I just don't see it with the last 2 runs. I just don't know what happened to the horse. To be honest with you, the wheels just kind of fell off. What do you think, Caleb?
Yeah, I think he's done. He was good at 2 and 3, and then he kind of tailed off late in his 3-year-old season. He disappeared for a while. Seemed to rediscover himself as a dirt marathoner for a minute, but then to me, it feels like the Brooklyn was the time that if he had any run left, he was going to show up there. That wasn't the strongest field in the world. It was the distance that he likes, the track that he likes. It's a class drop compared to what he was running against in the Breeders' Cup and the Ali Sheba. So, if he had any run, I feel like he should have shown it last time. I know he kind of got bumped a little bit at the start, but he didn't run a step. He won't be on any of my tickets. I mean, if you think he gets back to the suburban form from last year, then yeah, you got to bet him. I mean, there's a race in there somewhere that wins, but I don't think he has it today.
Who did you like in here, Caleb?
So I ended up on Dynamic One. I kind of held my nose and just sort of picked him here, even though I don't really think he's a overly talented horse. I'm nervous about the pace, but I could say that again with pretty much every horse in the field because there is no pace. So I'm kind of thinking short field, long distance. Irad Ortiz, like he probably won't be as far off as we may be accustomed to seeing him. I think he'll probably be 3 or 4 lengths off the pace. I don't think he's going to be 10 lengths off unless something crazy happens. And I think he probably is the best horse in the race. That Blame at Churchill, even though it was a listed stakes, that was a strong field. There were some good horses that come out of that. Scalding, Proxy, American Revolution was in that race, who just came back to run second to Olympiad. That was a good race. So I think he's coming out of the best races. And First Captain, I can't really decide what to do with. He might just be better now at 4, but he's a horse that I feel like routinely gets overbet relative to how good he is. And I don't really know that he was beating a ton in that Pimlico race. That's an interesting race from a figures perspective because I think Time Form has the Pimlico races all a little bit too slow. Bayer, Brisnet, Thoroughgraphs all have the Pimlico races a little on the faster side from that May 20th. So he's slow on Time Form, but he is competitive on other sets of figures. He loves Belmont. He loves to win, but I just don't know that he's really beaten anything. And both times he sort of stepped up against somewhat, legitimate competition. He's been beaten pretty bad. So I'll probably make him prove it to me that he is this good, especially when Shug's Barn doesn't seem to be firing very hot right now.
Yeah, First Captain's a little weird to me just because of the distance and the way that this horse has kind of been campaigned. I mean, win a mile and 3/16, so a mile and a quarter shouldn't be a problem. But it's like, why did it take them so long to get him routing? I mean, yeah, they ran the Curlin at a mile and the 8th, but he got embarrassed there, and then all of his other races were basically one turn. So it's interesting to see what they were kind of doing there. Matthew Betmix Bicky likes Max Player here. This is just such a tough race because every horse I tried to make a case for, like you just poke a ton of holes in. Like my mind goes to this one, but I mean this horse had all his own way last time on the front end and still found a way to lose on a Pimlico racetrack that tends to be pretty speed favoring. Obviously, Max Player needs to find the fountain of youth and remember how he used to run last year. I mean, Forewarned, I don't think anybody wants any part of, so I'm sure he booms us all.
He's and then you get the one horse that can't win, right?
I'll let Mark speak to that.
Again, I hate these. Yeah, I think Forewarned is the one horse that can't win. What's he done that shows he's even belongs here? I mean, Excelsior was nice, but we know Aqueduct Speed Figs come back a little bit. Tend to come. Well, I would say Aqueduct and Laurel Speed Figs tend to be a little bit wonky, and I tend to think some of those, over the winter figs were a little bit dressed up. And kind of what's happened the last two seems like the wheels have totally come off. He's lost to a couple others in here, and in both First Captain and whatever the Todd's horse name is. untrusted, untreated. I think I have a hard time getting forewarned, but again, maybe the pace gets super wonky. I don't know.
Yeah, I have a hard time seeing it, but the horse has won at 40-1 before, although that was at Aqueduct. So,
well, that's interesting. The one and only Sheldon Upstruck actually just threw up an HTR sheet, and boy, there are a lot of bells and whistles on Forewarned, to tell you the truth. So that's actually looks like if you were a tournament player, that would be the horse that you would want to pick, because a lot of tournament upside there.
Yeah, but in a 5-horse field, that 3, even if he's like 20-1, is going to play like an 8-1. So
True.
But if you don't have it and then other people do, like, that screws you. It's just like, we talk about like tournament play. Well, we haven't talked about it much, but or lately. But I always liken it to daily fantasy, where there's some slate breakers, which are just like players that go off that if you don't have, you basically have no shot at winning. I think if 4-1 does win, if you don't have him in a tournament, you're just screwed. But Brandon already drinking Coronas, huh?
He's like 12. I don't know how he.
Brandon, are you 21? Do we need to call the cops?
Seriously, I think we do.
I don't know, man. I'm starting to question what you taught Brandon over the past couple of years at Saratoga.
Yeah, nothing good. Absolutely nothing good.
Let me pull up. I'm gonna pull up my ADW here real quick. Horseshoe Indy is 1 minute to post here in race 1. Are any of you guys interested in playing the early at Indy?
No, I didn't look at anything. I just looked at the feature sequence at Indy.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I didn't have much of a chance to look at this yet, but I don't know. There's like a 2-1. Yeah, there's like 3 horses are 2-1. It's a 5-horse field, 3 scratched out. So I don't think there's really anything interesting betting wise in this race. But I don't know, anything else on the early that you want to touch on, Mark?
Yeah, the only other one that's an angle that I sometimes am a little interested in race 5, the 4 here, Cold Hard Cash. I don't know what the horse ends up going off at, but it's kind of a spot play type horse for me if I can get around that morning line. Horse really fits on figures, is 2 for 3 on the exact at Belmont, getting a fair bit of class relief. It's kind of stealth class relief, but those open allowances dropping down to an optional 62. And anytime that Linda Rice goes and grabs Johnny Velasquez, she tends to be really live in those types of spots. I realize if you pull the statistics up, Linda off a long layoff is really low percentage, but Linda off a long layoff, grabbing Johnny V, I sort of will ignore that long layoff stat. And I think the 4 Cold Hard Cash in there is a pretty interesting spot play at 6-1. So
I think I saw Jay was interested in, I think, this 10 horse here, Soulmate, at 15-1 for Tyler Gaffleone and John Pregman here.
In what, race 6?
Race 5.
Same race. I like that 10 also. Looks like between him and the 11, one of those two probably get the lead. I would guess the 10. And I think that horse looks good in there. I mean, not a win machine exactly, but at 15-1, I think it's a good price.
Yeah, he also says he likes the 5, which is Big Everest, the Christophe Clement Joel Rosario horse there.
Yeah, I'm not going to, with how the Clement barn has been firing lately, I'm not going to talk anybody off a Rosario Clement horse. On paper, this one looks slower than some of the others, but, those connections have just been absolutely lights out all Belmont meet.
What's the par? 94? I mean, he's right there on Briz. He looks to be okay. Looks to be an improving type too. I don't know what it looks like on time form, but Briz looks he's a
little too slow on time form. His last 2 were 100 and 111. Somebody like Cold Hard Cash ran a 120. You have the 7 has been running so that 114, 115 range. So, obviously horses, second start of his 4-year-old campaign, has every right to move up. The other thing I kind of got me was his last out win was over Yielding Turf. So I don't know if that turf that day maybe moved up his figures, because if you toss that last out of Big Everest, the 5, he's just quite a bit too slow in here to win. And my other sort of issue with him is, if you look at his career, when he runs a big effort, his maiden score, his next race right back was kind of a clunker, and he was extremely short that day. At $1.65. He went off at. So it doesn't seem like he's the kind of horse that fires consecutive races right back. So I had him nowhere. I will let Rosario Clement beat me, which is probably not a smart move, but I do stupid things on occasion.
It sounds like a Caleb move.
Yeah, I didn't use him either.
Oh yeah, there it is.
But
there it is.
I would have made you proud yesterday, Caleb. I tossed Channel Maker, and it cost me probably about $3,500.
He ran yesterday?
He did.
That's what I said.
I even pinged you.
Oh, I was busy. I must have missed it.
He ran on the Belmont undercard at a black type, at a 100K black type at 1.5 miles, and he was put away at the top of the stretch and then re-rallied on the rail, and by a flared nostril blew up my pick 5.
Ooh.
Was it the inner turf?
Yes.
That's your own fault.
It was my own fault. I 100% admit it. I knew what I was doing, and I knew it was going to burn me, and it did.
Matthew likes the one here advanced strategy for Trevor McCarthy and Philip Antonacci here. Bigger class drop, more recent, tops in adjusted speed. Is coming out of a stakes race. You like him too, Caleb?
I like the one. I have the one as a B. I like the horse.
Yeah, I thought the horse made some sense. Second off the long layoff. Yeah. Again, will be nowhere on any of my tickets, but is a horse that I thought made sense.
Never mind. Let me turn off the defensive B alert. Sorry.
Nope, nowhere. I'm 3.
You notice that when Caleb says it's a B, it doesn't come up, but as soon as you started talking, I put that bad boy on.
Now, I will mention, if I had used Channel Maker as a defensive B yesterday, I would have still cashed the pick 5. This is what Caleb has done to me. He's now costing me more money than he did 2 years ago.
That's right.
I mean, there you go. He didn't even say anything, and he's costing me.
No, exactly. Didn't even say anything.
Just the fear, just the fear of what he's gonna, what you're gonna hear.
Judged is now
the
costing
fear
me
of
money.
being embarrassed. But yeah, why don't we go and take a look at kind of revisit this cross country pick 5 here. We got about a half hour or a little over a half hour before first post here at Belmont, and maybe in 15 minutes we'll look at that first race and see if we see anything there. But yeah, we have a couple of late scratches here in this cross country pick 5. Obviously, in race 9 at Belmont, the 11 Emmanuel is scratched out. Race 10 at Horseshoe had a number of scratches with Somersault, Runnin' Ray, Attentive leading the charge, and Price Talk. I think we talked about 3 of those horses on stream last week or on Thursday. So Candy Raid in race 11, and then New Year's Fever and Un Oho in race 12 here in this cross country pick 5. So Caleb, it looks like, I don't know, maybe about 5 horses that you were interested in scratched out in this. I
know. I'm pretty bummed, actually. Yeah, that makes it tough. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, so like race 7, I mean, nothing changed in race 7, so I don't know if there's really anything that we needed.
The late pick 5, or are we covering the cross country?
The cross country pick 5.
Okay, that starts with race 9.
Starts with race 7, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. I sorry. My bad. I was thinking it was, yeah, okay, sorry.
Someone has another coffee.
Whoa, I don't know what happened there. Apparently we cut out, but we're going to talk about this cross-country pick 5 after scratches. What race does this start on, Mark?
It starts at race 7 at Belmont.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
First leg, yeah.
All right, yeah. So, I don't know. It doesn't really change anything for me. I still really like Agartha in this spot. But Mark, I mean, is there anything you guys really want to touch on that we didn't cover on Thursday?
I don't think so. I don't think anything much changed from a pace complexion standpoint, with any of the scratches. So, I thought the 5 and the 10 were your two most likely winners in here. But again, I wouldn't talk anybody off a price. If you have one of the Euros in here that you think makes some sense, I'm going to use them all to some degree. I'll have my most money going through the 5 and the 10.
Yeah, I'll be 9-10 here. Caleb, I forgot where were you on this one?
Yeah, I'm gonna be 5, 9, 10, and then I have the 3 and the 4s on a couple smaller tickets. But to me, I like the 9 and 10 probably the best.
Yeah. Cool. Let's go ahead and take a look at race 9. So race 9 did have one scratch, which was a scratch of the 11 in Emmanuel. That does kind of, I mean, I don't really think we talk too much about Classic Causeway because, I mean, it's Classic Causeway. But, I mean, I know dirt speed doesn't always translate to turf speed, but, that's kind of your speed in this race, right?
He'll take him as far as he can.
Yeah, I think that was the idea with Emmanuel. He would sort of take him as far as he can. Some speed actually came out of that. 1 second, let me get my pace predictor up here and see who probably ends up on the lead without Emmanuel.
You need a pace projector for that?
I don't know. The problem is pace projector doesn't take into account all the Euros. So
there isn't a pace projector because there's so many Euros, but Classic Causeway ought to be 5 in front.
Mark Capitan, ladies and gentlemen.
The conversation of does dirt speed translate to turf speed? I mean, he should be, but is the intent here to just go with him with Julian up? You really think so?
I mean, what else is he going to do? There's no other speed in the race, and he only wins on the lead. You got to think, they're sending him.
Yeah, you're probably right.
I mean, he got beat by a turf horse last time out, so.
I mean, Stone Age has a little bit of speed. I wouldn't be surprised to see him sitting second, but I don't think he's going to get in front of Classic Causeway.
Yeah. Yeah.
Does anyone actually think Classic Causeway can win? Maybe, with Emmanuel in there, I gave him no chance. Without Emmanuel in there, I still give him no chance. But do you guys have any interest?
I'll have a little bit of money going through him. Just on I mean, again, this is one of those situations where, yeah, you probably don't run a horse 8 times and in his 9th start decide he's a turf horse, but he does have pedigree, which says he should handle it.
What's the peak dirt to turf?
Abysmal. Absolutely abysmal.
I'm saying 4% first on grass.
4%. Yeah, he's 1 for 47 or something. Yeah. It's very, very little. I mean, but he brought Julian in for 1 mount.
But it's in New York.
I know. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, this time the siren is blaring right now. The siren is blaring. All right, we got the defensive B alert. Just it's going off.
I don't know. You should get a price on him, but people love to bet horses that they have name recognition from the Derby. So I don't know if you will or not. If you like him, use him, but I won't have him anywhere.
Yeah, the scratch of Emmanuel changes basically nothing for me. I am going to use the 13 and the 10 along with the 9. I don't know. Although now you say McPeak is like 4. Well, no, you said 4% first time turf. Tizabum's already ran on turf.
It would not be technically a first time turf.
Yeah, I thought you meant turf, dirt to turf.
Would you like a better statistic than that, though, Josh?
Sure.
Do you know what Ken McPeak's stats are going dirt to dirt turf?
5%.
2%.
Oof, that's less than 4%.
That is less than 4%. Actually, that's like half of 4%. And that's with a 57 sample size. So he's, pretty abysmally bad.
So Matthew here likes the 3 and the 5, Napoleonic War, the Chad Brown. We didn't even talk about this horse, did we?
Nope.
I mean, chances that Chad Brown just completely booms us with Pratt aboard at 10-1 and we all look like idiots.
I mean, there's always that chance. I've been boomed before by, by Chad Brown on a horse that I absolutely despised. Caleb and I, I'm sure, are both tossing this horse. So yeah, this one probably booms us. Yeah.
Yeah, if that horse beats me, I really won't even be mad about it. I don't know.
I wouldn't be mad at all if that horse beats me. I mean, how does that horse not win the last? This is just an absolutely massive step up in class, and couldn't get it done last time out across this surface. So like, I don't see what the upside is, and I think Napoleonic War probably takes money being a Chad Brown horse and having Flev and Pratt up, right? So you're not going to get your price, and you're going to get a horse that I just don't see the upside here at all. This just seems like Chad's putting this one here probably because he has no place else to put him, and he's probably not good enough to win anything at Saratoga.
Peter Brandt owns both Napoleonic War and he owns Stone's Age too.
I think that's Coolmore, unless he has maybe a part ownership. But I don't see.
They don't normally split.
No, there's like 9 million people who own this horse.
Yeah,
Magnier, Mrs. John,
Tabor,
Miss Magnier.
Yeah.
This
race I'm using pretty much exclusively Euros. So I think Stone Age is the horse that probably gets the biggest benefit from Emmanuel scratching, because it gets to bring him in one post position, and that 1.25 mile turn race does start pretty close to the turn. And the fact that Stone Age is a horse that, both of those runaway wins at Leopardstown and Navon were on the lead. So I don't think he can get the lead over Classic Causeway, but I don't think he's a need to lead horse either. But I think the fact that he doesn't have an additional speed to contend with to his immediate inside is going to help him out a lot. So I'm thinking he's quick enough to probably get over clear and then just kind of set off the hip of Classic Causeway. I think the scratch helps him out quite a bit. So I did kind of elevate him to an A as well as Nation's Pride. I think they're about the same to me. And then I am making a strong case for the 6 Machete. I'm going to have a lot going into this horse, trying to get live to him in doubles. I'll definitely win bet him at the price. So that I'm going to use that as a 20-1 A with the other two. And that's pretty much it. I might pay the Godolphin tax, throw on Royal Patronage as a B just because that's not a Godolphin. Never mind. I was thinking of the other horse in the Phillies race. But yeah, I'm pretty much using those 3.
Yeah, Michael says that Stone Age is wearing Brandt silks in his blowout win at Leopardstown.
Oh, that's really interesting then.
And Caesar says he's got 5 on it.
Okay.
Yeah, Matthew's saying by BetMix, it looks like only Tiz the Bomb is dropping. I think that's kind of tough. I don't know how BetMix handles the European races. It's kind of tough.
Yeah, I don't understand how the Epsom Derby to this race isn't a massive class drop. I realize a number of horses coming out of it didn't run, and we had this conversation on Thursday, but I would have to, Epsom Derby it's the freaking Epsom Derby,
Yeah.
I believe you're mispronouncing it. I'm pretty sure it's Derby.
Is it? I thought it was only Derby if it was in Ireland.
I'm pretty sure it's Epsom Derby.
They call it Derby, but I don't
see.
I thought you had to be at the curve to be a Derby.
Okay.
I thought it was the Irish Derby, and
oh man, poor Caleb's just got to contend with my bullshit all the time. he's like I just don't care. But all right, let's get through these Indiana races then. Race 10. I'm sorry, Caleb. I mean, this is just like got decimated by Running Ray. Who else did you like in here? Leading a Charge. Is that the other horse that you liked?
Yeah, I like the 8 a little bit at a price.
Yeah, but
and the 13, who I figured would draw in, even with the scratches, doesn't draw in.
Yeah, I was like, oh, cool. Like I said, when I first looked at the scratches, I was like, oh, the 13, great. He drew in, but he scratched. So I don't really think it changes my opinion of this too much. I think maybe I'm a little bit more interested in some like at Hot Brown, but I mean, basically that would leave me taking the 2 shortest prices, and I don't really feel good about that. I mean, I know that Mark has no problem with that, but I have to look at myself in the mirror, and yeah, I don't know if I can do that after taking the 2 shortest prices. But Caleb, what did you end up doing here after half your horses scratched?
Yeah, so I thought that in the sequence, the cross country pick 5 sequence, this was kind of the favorite I really wanted to beat with Ivar. Just but all the ways I wanted to beat him kind of scratched. So I'm sort of left at the point where it's like, oh, I hate the post, but he's in the 8-hole now, which is a lot better than the 12. A lot of the contenders I thought were a little bit interesting scratched out. Some of the other speed scratched out. So yeah, I think Ivar, it's probably his race to lose at this point. I do kind of like some like a Hot Brown a little bit better with Run and Ray scratching out. I don't know that they're going to try to go with Gray's Fable with some like a Hot Brown. And speed typically does pretty well in this Indiana turf when it's pretty firm and dry like it is today. So I kind of, I think it's a logical result here. I think Ivar's your likeliest winner. I think some like a Hot Brown's your second most likely winner. And then I think if you're, structuring a race like this, I'm going to use horses like Cavalry Charge and, El Kabong maybe on a couple of tickets. But I think for me, as much as I don't want to do it, I think I got to put most of my money through Ivar.
Yeah, I agree with your top two, but no Duke of Hazard in here. First time Lasix. That's about what is it, like a 30% angle for Wes Ward. And it's a horse that the last two in the States weren't amazing or anything, but this seems like the kind of horse that maybe got shipped over here because Lasix is gonna going to move him up. Any love there?
No, I mean that's definitely the short price horse I don't want anything to do with. I can't tell you the last time he won. It's been at least 2 years ago, maybe more, because it doesn't even show up in my form. And it's not like he's been running against, monsters necessarily either. I mean, the Woodbine Mile was pretty weak last year. That Seek Again was a 3-horse race, and okay, you beat Wolfie's Donaghost, who just quit running. I don't like Wesley Ward with older horses. I don't like Wesley Ward with routers. And I don't really care that much about the Lasix thing. I mean, I don't think it's going to move this horse up enough to beat a horse like Ivar or even something like a Hot Brown. So no, I definitely don't want this horse in this race, especially at the third choice.
Okay. Oh,
I was going to say, so Mark, you're taking a Lope de Vega horse after it's basically like gone to a retirement home after 2?
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't even think of what was that Chad Brown horse that everyone thought was the
Bernardini on turf. Sometimes they win,
Yeah, what was that Chad Brown horse that was like going to be the next big thing, and then as soon as she turned 3, she started losing newspaper record. Thank you. Lope de Vega, ladies and gentlemen.
Michael brings up a good point with.
Michael does bring up a really good point. That was the horse I was going to talk about. Yeah, this horse, Peace Achieved. I know HTR is absolutely all over Peace Achieved. All sorts of bells and whistles with that one horse. That off the long layoff should move up. Flow up for Cassie is a pretty damn good angle. So I think Peace Achieved has to be on your ticket somewhere. I don't know what sort of price you get. I'm sort of hoping that this one sort of sneaks through. But some of those back figs are fit here pretty darn well. So I thought Peace Achieved was super interesting, and the more I look at him, the more I sort of have to move him up.
I tried to get there, I really did, but that horse just strikes me as one that was really good at 2 and then just hasn't improved at all. And Cassie's not really a guy. Well, I think this is the good Cassie as opposed to the other one. He's also not a guy that I think does very well off layoffs. This is a big layoff and a tough spot, honestly, to make your first start in over a year. When you weren't exactly, tearing it up prior to that anyway. So, I mean, he would be a C at best for me. I probably won't use him, but if you think that, the layoff, Cassie figured something out, I don't know. I mean, then I wouldn't hate including him because I think you get a good price.
Yeah, I mean, that's all I have him. I have him as a C. I'll have a little bit of coverage there. I do think that this race more than likely goes through your top 2, but I don't mind having a little bit of coverage to him.
I see Matthew posting up his picks. He likes the 3, the 5, the 14, and 10. The 5 Cavalry Charge. I feel like someone talked about Cavalry Charge on Thursday. Was that Jay or
somebody brought up the Lasix angle when we were talking about it for, I think maybe it was Duke of Hazard, that Cavalry Charge's last 2 off Lasix were kind of bad. And I think that was a great point, whoever did bring that up, especially not only off Lasix, but also over that really wonky Churchill turf course that, it seems like a lot of horses just didn't handle. So I think he could be really sneaky in here because some of those fairground races were very good. He is a horse that I'm going to use a little bit of for sure.
I'm gonna call myself out on this one.
I mean, you don't got to call defensive B when the horse is 15-1.
Oh,
You
okay.
when the horse
Beautiful.
is like 2-1 like Mark.
Beautiful.
So I guess a question for me is, how have those fairground winter races come back? Have horses that did well at the fairgrounds over the winter come back to run versus, I don't know, better company, as they're shipping more north for the summer and run well? Or, I mean, I know I keep hearing people referencing fairground winter races, but I don't feel like personally I've seen a ton of them being crazy live.
Two Emmys came back and ran pretty decent. Santon is
Santon
like
came
everybody's like favorite turf horse.
They were fine. I mean, I don't think they're like the top tier of like racing by any stretch, but I think that, I wouldn't upgrade nor downgrade horses coming off the fairground circuit over the winter.
Yeah, and it's not a diss at the fairgrounds, but I almost think if you're running your horses in the winter at the fairgrounds, they're probably not, A-tier North American turf horses. They're probably a little bit inferior.
Well, I don't think Horseshoe Indianapolis is an A-tier track. So.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I think if you're based in Kentucky, that's just where you send your horses in the winter. So,
like Dallas Stewart doesn't keep a stable at Gulfstream.
Yeah. I mean, really, you're going to you're going to say that the turf course at Gulfstream Park is better than the turf course.
Where I was going is more the Chad Brown angle. They turn them out for the winter. They take 3, 4, 5 months off, and then you bring them back and you start rounding them into form for a summer campaign. If you're running your horse in January and February at fairgrounds, they're probably not that level of horse.
So basically, anyone who's not Chad Brown is not a top tier turf horse.
Yeah, basically, it's like, hey, if it's not Chad Brown,
he's like one of 3 trainers that do that. And
there's a lot of them. Graham Motion does it. Todd Pletcher does it. I mean, there's
Pletcher runs a huge string at Gulfstream.
He does, but his A tier, his really good, if you're talking his really good dirt and turf horses tend to take the winter off. I think that's a fairly common thing for any top tier trainer is to give their horses a lot of downtime. Unless they're pointing for.
I agree at all with Pletcher. I think he keeps his best string at Gulfstream the last couple of years. He has not had it at Saratoga lately. And Graham Motion, I don't know that I would even consider him a top tier turf because he runs his best horses at Laurel. But,
okay.
Anything else that we need to talk about in this race?
I think it's just a hard race for me from a structure standpoint because I think Ivar is the most likely winner and he's going to be tough to beat, but I also think he's going to be even money. And then some like a Hot Brown might be 5-2. And then you kind of get your pick of anyone else. And I don't want to be 5 deep when I like the even money horse. So I might have to take a stand somewhere, I think. And I haven't totally decided how I'm going to do that yet, but I'm probably going to have to end up getting pretty aggressive through Ivar because I don't want to dilute my equity by using him, but also sprinting a lot.
Yeah, Matthew, Josh just says some things and you just sort of have to disregard them at times when he says dumb things. So we'll let.
When did I say Motion isn't a top tier trainer? That was you.
Oh, Caleb?
Caleb.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was not me. I was like, what? Dude, like, I bet 2% trainers all the time. Like, you think I really care? Like,
no, I think for me, I'll have probably 90% of my money going through some like a Hot Brown in the 12. And yeah, and I just want some saver tickets to a couple other prices in there that I'm interested in. And none of them will be defensive Bs, Josh, just letting you know.
it's okay. I got you with a different one.
Ah, okay.
Indiana Oaks, we had one scratch here, the one. I don't think this changes anything. I don't even want to talk about this race. I mean, really anything to add?
Josh, you're singling the 5. I'm singling the 5. Mark using the 5 with probably 3 defensive uses with the 3, 7, and 8.
I have the 5 as an A, and I have the 3, 7, 8 as C's.
Like I said, the only other horse I could see using is the 3, but the problem is that 3 is going to be your second choice, and like, why are you fucking doing this to yourself? So, but Mark, you do you. Yeah, I actually like am disgusted after hearing Mark say that, so I think we're just gonna move on. We had two scratches here of 9 Unoho and New Year's Fever in the Indiana Derby. I know Caleb, you were probably the highest on Unoho in this spot,
Yeah.
but it doesn't really change much for me. I'm fading the shit out of the 6.
Yeah, I think we're all putting the 6 probably right in the winner's circle. I'm 4, 7, 8 here, and they're all A's, and that's as deep as I get.
How fucked up is it that I'm betting McPeak in a turf race in New York, but I'm fading McPeak in fucking Indiana on dirt? Like,
I mean, yeah, I'm with you though.
oh my
I'll,
god.
I'll be honest. I wouldn't be surprised to see the 8 go off as your favorite or incredibly close to Rattle and Roll. I think that horse is going to take a ton of money.
Yeah, I have no idea who actually goes off the favorite there. I mean, it's Horseshoe Indianapolis. We know that the morning lines are not the best, and I honestly have no idea who your favorite in there. I could think there's 4 horses in there that wouldn't shock me if they were the favorite. 4, 6, 7, 8. I don't know who ends up your favorite. Is it a lukewarm favorite? Is it aggressive? I have no idea.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna roll with the 4 and the 7 here. I might maybe I gotta see. I haven't actually like put through the ticket through its paces and see like where I'm at. Maybe I use the 8. I don't know.
I'm with you, Josh. I'm using most of the 7. Going to have a little bit of the 4. Decided I'm going to let the 8 beat me. I think he's going to be short, and just looking at it from a sequence perspective, like I begrudgingly or like genuinely am using the favorites in most of the other legs. This kind of feels like the spot to take a shot against some suspect favorites. Rally and Roll, who hasn't really improved in a while, and then Actuator, who just has one race, has never gone 2 turns. I mean, a lot of question marks there. So I'm going to take a shot against both of them with the 4 and 7, kind of, hope to find some value because I do have to begrudgingly use some of the other favorites like Ivar and some of the Europeans at Belmont.
Yeah. I did see, kind of going back to Belmont, I did see Jay already posted his early ticket. So we got about 12 minutes of first post time. So they'll probably, what are they saying?
Touchdowns. It's pretty sturdy. Nice.
Well, it is pretty sturdy. It is nice. 11 minutes here to Belmont Park. But Mark, I don't know what. It looks like Jay's going to spread in this first leg: 2, 5, 7, 8, 11, 12.
He's a lot more spread than I am. My 2 A's were the 2 and the 5.
That's impressive.
And then the 7 was a B, and that's all I have. So yeah, I mean, I think he has some of the right players in there. But I really want most of my money going through. Obviously, the 2's the favorite, and then Manny has ridden really well for Falcone in the past, and Falcone's also pretty darn good going, on the drop. There's a lot of players in here. I want somebody who's dropping in class. I really wasn't as interested in a lot of these horses that are coming back at a similar level, which is most of the field. So yeah, I want a dropper, and I don't. I'm not going to fault Jay for going as deep as he is because he is fishing to some prices in here. His 11 and his 12, he's getting 20 and 40 to 1 type horses, which I don't. Obviously, I'm not going to beat anybody up over that, but I want to be a little more aggressive here.
I do like that he's trying to get to that 10 come hell or high water.
I like that.
Yeah, I mean he's just like I don't care if I use all the other horses in the first 4 legs. He's like. But yeah, I like the 2 singles at the end. Getting to his best opinion there. So,
I think our boy Caesar's asking a really good question, and who sort of ends up on the lead here. How I saw it was probably the 2 or the 3 end up, but sometimes the pace complexion gets a little wonky with some of these droppers who have probably historically shown more speed in their prior races. So, so for me, I thought it's probably the 2 or the 3. End up on the lead.
Yeah, it looks like Briz kind of thought the 6 was pretty fast early, but I mean you're talking about 30 to 1. What did you say? The 5? Did you like the 5 there as the speed?
No, I see the 2 and the 3 as being the speeds. I think the 5 is going to be forwardly placed. Manny should sit a nice trip, but I thought the 2 and the 3 were your most likely horses to end up on the lead.
Yeah, I'll take a quick peek here. Just pace.
Yeah, I saw the race. I mean, I guess both of y'all. I think the logical horses in here are, I'm also including like the 2 and the 5. I thought were my top 2 picks in here. Um, I kind of liked a few bombs as well. I thought that the 7, 10, and 12 all sort of looked a little bit interesting. 10 in this race, I really think is going to like the stretch out. It hasn't run very fast, but I really think this horse is going to like getting 2 turns. And then, between the 12 and the 7, mostly just kind of going on some back class, or not back class, but back turf races that were pretty good and kind of disguised with some ugly dirt races around them. So I think if they can get back to some of those or improve on those efforts, they could make some sense here.
Yeah, I thought your 12 in here was pretty interesting. Horse that's got some dirtied up form who, of the horses getting back to, again, pedigree says that the 12 should really like the stretch out, and turf is probably the surface. So I thought, and also, again, it's a very small sample size, but Chad Summers is 43% first time with blinks on that 12. So, when you see a real high stat like that on on a trainer that's fairly low percentage trainer, and again, small sample size, it's only out of 7 starts, but so that would be 3 for 7 first time blinks.
Yeah, I will say I am not playing an early pick 5. I can't get a ticket that I like for the budget, so I'll probably play pick 4 instead.
Matthew pointing out our use of wonky. What's so wonky? What did you say was wonky?
I say
Mark, I'm
wonky
looking
all
right
the
at you.
time. It's sort of like me saying stellar. So just things that
Yeah.
come out of my mouth. I don't really know why. They just happens.
He said visceral handicapping at its best. Mark, you need to be less emotional. All right, you gotta just look at the data. Don't let your feelings take over.
You're being
So
wonky.
you're saying I should ignore Caleb more than I do now?
Yeah. I kind of like the 3 and the. I kind of like the 3 and the.
He's a smart man.
I kind of like the 3 and the 7 in this first race, but like I said, I didn't look too hard. I did see Jimmy Two Eyes was asking about a race that we didn't talk about, which was the Victory Ride, race 8. Man, I'll tell you, we talked about this offline, and then I saw some guys in Discord talking about this as well. Like, what was Naira thinking with this? Like, the way that they put these races together, like, were they just looking at the cross country and like, all right, we got to set this up for the cross country? Because like, what are those 2 fucking races at the late end in?
I don't mind having like one shit race at the end. Like that's just a very common thing to do, especially in New York. They always have some, New York bred maiden or shitty claiming turf race or whatever. Like I don't mind having one, but having 2 at the end, especially races that are just like not much form to go off of in some of them, and some of the horses are just so bad. Like, I don't like that. And if you want to stick it in the sequence, I mean, so be it, I guess. But like, I don't like having the last 2 races end up that way because that makes them a part of the pick 4 and the pick 5. It ends, the Grand Slam ends in one of those shit races. Like, make it like the first and the last leg or something like that. I don't like having 2 of them at the end.
I don't know. I guess I'm just surprised because normally you get like the featured race at the end, and then you get some maiden claimer at the end, the second to last race of the feature, and then you get some like maiden claimer at the end. I mean, that's how it always is. But like, yeah, like the way, like you can't get the Belmont Derby and the Belmont Oaks in a good way in any sequences, unless you're playing like a pick 3 or something. It's just weird. Especially because they're 2 good full field turf races. So I don't know. I really don't know what they were thinking with the way that they carded these. I saw a lot of people just not happy about it. I know we talked about it. Luckily, I mean, like I said, you get them both in the cross country, and I thought the cross country sequence is at least a little interesting. But it's mostly interesting because those 2 turf races. So I don't know. I feel like Naira's just shot himself in the foot.
It seems like the perfect spot to do some sort of a guaranteed pick 3 race 7, 8, 9, link together the 3 stakes races and put a whatever, $100,000 guarantee on the pot or something. And you would draw a lot of people in, I don't know, maybe do a special low takeout pick 3, something like that to spice it up. You got a great little sequence there. I do agree. It's hard when, I do like when you have sort of a maiden 40 as the last race where you can get a little calamity. If you have a sequence you think you can kind of slam and then sort of spread the last leg, those are always fun being live to something nice. But yeah, I very much agree with you. This sequence was carded a bit wonky. Let's call it wonky.
Here you go, wonky count. Mark, you sent me this. What are we looking at here?
That's the early pick 5 at Belmont. Again, it's a skinny ticket. I think the entire structure was $82. I think $81, and that's with 3x leverage to my A's. And yeah, nothing super fancy there. I mean, I can go through every race. I imagine we'll walk through some of these other races in this early sequence because I know Caleb's putting his pick 4 together now, so we can see how much we align there.
I love that you're like nothing fancy here, but you got like 24 tickets out there. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's the definition of fancy.
I'm the horrible ABC player that, and I mean, there was talk in chat earlier, about people going away from ABC handicapping because of whatever reasons. I totally get it. I think if you have opinions and you can build around them, that's a better way to do it than sort of an ABC type structure. But again, I have opinions and I'm just trying to get a little leverage through them.
I also have opinions about.
And for the record, when I say ABC, half the time I just use it as a way of saying like how much I like a horse. Like, oh, this horse is a C. I may not actually play it at ABC, but just like it's a horse that I might have on a couple of smaller tickets, but I won't have most of my money through that horse. Like sometimes it's just easier to say that as a figure of speech.
Yeah, I do it a lot as a figure of speech as well. Obviously, what I posted was a true ABC, but very often I'll have sequences where, hey, I have B's and C's, but I'm just not using them. And I may, it's also a thing where, yeah, if I'm saying ABC, it's probably an ABC and a pick 5 because I tend to be spreadier in my pick 5s. But if I'm playing a daily double or a pick 3, it's just going to be my A's and I'm going to try to leverage up the front end.
I feel like Mark just defensive B'd his ABC.
Defensive B's my ABCs? Is that what I just did?
Oh, that's funny.
Oh man! All right, we got 1 minute to post here. Let me see.
Okay, I'm looking here. Caleb, you cap race 8 yet?
I have them all done, yeah. Race 8
because Jay is saying the 7 and race 8 maybe a Josh horse. So
what's race 8?
7 and race 8 being a Josh horse.
The victory ride.
The Sterling Silver.
No,
the S1.
I don't think so.
Oh, he's saying he's a lone running style. I mean, he's the lone closer, I think.
Lone closer.
Okay. I thought he meant lone speed.
I like that horse a lot. That's probably my top pick in here, actually. It does feel like there's a lot of speed. Hot Peppers, Pretty Birdie, Happy Soul, all kind of have to go. Smash Ticket and half is enough. Drawn to the inside, like to be forwardly placed as well. So yeah, I think that I really like Sterling Silver in there.
Hold on, I got to cap race 3 real quick so I can get a double in. Or race 2 real quick. Race 2, sorry.
I really like a couple of firsters in race 3, but we can get to that later.
Yeah. Let me just hop to race 3. Yeah, I actually did.
I'm gonna go with your little.
Are you also on the Kelly Breen horse, Josh? Or Caleb, I mean?
I like it, but I prefer the 1 actually.
Do you? Okay.
But I
had the 1 nowhere.
Ray Handel, so there's like a weird thing going on right now with a couple of trainers like Tony Dutro is another one and Ray Handel's one who historically are very bad with first-time starters. But in the past year, I don't know if they're getting different stock or what's going on. They've been really good. I mean, in the past year, Ray Handel is 25% with first-time starters in dirt sprints, whereas like career, he's like 8% or something. So that's like a 24 horse sample size. So it's not small. Tony Dutro is another guy that's been doing really well with first timers. So you can get prices on these horses because their career stats first time out are bad. But I think this one could be really sneaky here.
I just sent a text. Let me see if I get anything back on that one. Obviously, Hibiscus is the breeder. So I just texted the head of Hibiscus to ask if he knows anything about the horse. Just because they sold it doesn't necessarily mean he doesn't have connections to it or know what's up.
Matthew Bickey just swinging for the fences here. Race 1. He likes a 10 to 12 in the 6. So I thought my 7 at 10 to 1. I thought I was kind of sticking my neck out a little bit, and then Matthew Bickey's like, hold my beer.
Well, I was gonna say though that the thing with Bicky is he just spot playing prices, or is he building them into a sequence? I think there's difference there. And if you're, hey, I'm looking to catch a couple prices with some win bets, that's one approach. Or is he trying to say, hey, I'm picking just those 3 and I'm building them. Those are my only horses in a pick 5. I think that's a different approach and a different way of looking at things.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so he's playing a contest. Yeah, he's spot playing a contest.
I haven't been watching as much Belmont lately, but does this pick 5 pool feel pretty big for like a not Belmont Stakes day? I mean, 850,000 in the early pick 5 already. Does that feel bigger than normal? Or is that about normal?
Well, Mark is about 2% of that with his.
My whole $81, Josh. Yeah. No, I mean that seems pretty healthy. That seems more like a Saratoga Thursday kind of pool. So Belmont Saturday, Saratoga Thursday, about equal.
I'm going to throw $5 to win on this 10 horse just for some action at 18 to 1. But
oh, look at Matthew. Matthew just influencing you, isn't he?
No, not influencing me. I told you the 10 horse like to stretch out here.
Yeah.
I just I got to have something. A little bit of action riding, but I'm being disciplined enough to not play the pick 5 because I know that I would go 5 deep here and either get the 2 horse at 6 to 5 or get boomed by like the fucking 6 at 70 to 1.
Yeah, I doubled into the 9 next race. I saw a little baby Z pattern there, so we'll take a shot with the 9 in race 2.
I like
and
that.
Then and I got the 3-7 here, so we'll see what happens. Mark, you got what? 2-5?
2-5 and a little 7. And honestly, man,
I hope Bicky booms us with one of these horses. Yeah. I really do.
And I will say to Bicky's point, he was saying closing day is tomorrow, but I also think that this is a really good card. And I think when you have big stakes, people are going to cap the whole thing and play the undercard. So having good stakes later on is probably driving volume in the early.
That's probably true. I mean, also the field sizes, with the exception of the suburban big fields. So I think if you're playing, you do have to use more horses unless you really take some shots. So
I wish more tracks would figure this out, that if you put a good entire card, you drive more volume for the entire card, and therefore.
This 2 is awful short at 6 to 5.
What the hell is Manny doing here?
Who's Manny on?
I think he's the
5.
Oh. He's losing contact with these leaders, but
so he went with them, and then he decided, maybe they're going a little fast. Maybe.
But Rosario is just on a suicide mission.
Right, then this is flying.
It's a nice parking lot back there.
What's that?
It's a nice parking lot back there.
Agreed, ain't it?
It's going to be like 45, something stupid.
Oh yeah. 45 and 2.
Oh, God.
Well, it's setting up for my 10 if he's going to, stretch out the way I hope. Who did Bicky like? He had the 7 too, didn't he?
No, he had the 10, 12, and the 6.
The 6, 10, and 12. I like the 7 a bit, but...
this 5 has got so
Manny.
much run.
Do the thing, Manny. This 12 is rolling. I think Bicky was on. And I'm going to be dead like one, I would imagine. Come on, Manny.
Well, I saved myself some money.
There you go.
I had 5 horses and didn't have the 8 anyway.
Yeah, I mean, 11th start. Have fun.
Yeah, I just don't ever associate Noda as a guy that can train on turf. So he's also a very streaky guy, and the fact that he's 25% right now, maybe I should have thrown him in, but
I should have thrown him in as well. Second start on turf, and Irad hops up, he's 30% with Noda.
Yeah.
So.
Oh well, I'll be proud of myself for passing to save some.
There
money.
you go. Papa Knight probably still alive. You know what? He probably used it.
Dad bets any horse that's related to T Loves a Fight because T. Terry. So yeah, he probably had that horse.
Let's take a look at this victory ride real quick, and then maybe look at races 2 and 3 before we head out here. So, victory ride. We got the grade 3. You're going 6.5 furlongs on the dirt, and you got like, why is Todd Fincher shipping a horse in here? That's the freaking craziest thing. And
well, it's not the crazier part isn't that he's shipping the horse. It's that Mike Smith came to ride one mount.
No, he's got a turf horse.
Yeah, is he on Kyra members? Okay, that makes a little more sense then.
Yeah, he's on 7. He's in race 7 too. Yeah, but yeah, smash ticket and what 5-2 on the morning line? Is he the favorite? No, Pretty Birdie's favorite at 2-1. But Caleb, you kind of alluded already that you really like the 7, and I think Jay also likes the 7.
Yeah, for me, I think it's just a pace play. Like it looks like the 4, 5, and 6 are all the same run style. They all need the lead, and I think the pace is going to be pretty swift. So I was kind of looking for closers. I think the 7 ran a nice race. I think the question you have to answer with Sterling Silver here is this horse just only good enough to beat state breds, or are those 2 open company races throwouts because they were routes? Is this horse really just a sprinter? I'm going to take a shot that she's good enough to win this kind of a race, and that those 2 bad races that were just too far, because she did run very well whenever she's been kept shorter. I think she gets a good pace setup here, and I don't know that she's good enough, but I'm interested. I think she gets a good pace setup, like I said, and I'll pay to find out.
Mark.
And yeah, Caesar brings up Smash Ticket. That's the other horse I'll use. I'm not using any of the speeds, and I'm not using the 3. So yeah, I'm going to be 2-7 in here.
Yeah, I'm going to be I'm using all the chalk, per normal. So I use the 2, the 4, and the 5 all equally. I really had no good opinion or smart opinion in this race. So I just took the 3, what I felt like were fastest horses on paper, and, moved along. Again, I absolutely hate this race in the late sequence. I think it's horrible because it makes a late pick 5 for me extremely expensive into a race that I don't feel like I have a great feel on. So, and then hearing Caleb say he's on horses that are completely different than the ones I'm on, always, doesn't make you feel good.
Yeah, I don't mind your 5. I think she's probably the best of the speed horses in here. I want nothing to do with Happy Soul at all. And then Hot Peppers, yeah, I want no part of Happy Soul.
See, my thing was of the 3 of them, I thought Happy Soul was the most interesting, just in the fact that the horse is 2 for 2 across the surface and is probably getting a little bit of class relief here in this race, just in the company and who showed up. So, and I thought Happy Soul made a lot of sense. Now, I know where you're going to go with this. Is she she improved 2 to 3, but which I don't really know, but I guess I'll be the one paying to find out.
I mean, do Wesley Ward horses ever improve 2 to 3?
No, they never do. No.
I mean, horse was beaten at 4 to 5 last time out, and with a gold rail, and a speed bias. Yeah, I don't see it. She's the shorter price that I want nothing to do with. Pretty Birdie, I respect. Hot Peppers will be a long enough price. I wouldn't hate anyone taking a shot there, but yeah, Happy Soul not for me.
Cool. I respect that.
Michael saying Happy Soul's going to get the worst of it. Drawn inside of all the speed. Look how that worked out last time.
If you guys could all shit on her and put her right in the winner's circle, I'd appreciate that.
I don't know. I just thought, Happy Soul last out to Lady Scarlet, and didn't Lady Scarlet come back to? Is that the Rudy Rodriguez horse, or am I thinking of a different horse?
I don't know who Lady Scarlet is. I have to look her up.
Never mind. I'm thinking of a different horse then. So forget about it. I actually have to look up who Lady Scarlet is then.
She's a Mike Maker horse, apparently.
Maker horse.
Never mind. That is not the horse I was thinking of.
Also interesting is that the 4 runners that finished 3rd through 6th from that Miss Preakness all regressed by 10 to 20 speed points on time form in their next start, with the exception of one horse who went to turf. So you don't really count that one.
Oh, never mind.
That actually
I hate Happy Soul now.
Yeah,
I changed my mind
do as well.
I hadn't really looked at this race, so I just thought that Happy Soul looked a little interesting because they tried stretching her out for the Ashland, and then once they cut her back, she ran She ran second to who I thought was a good horse, but I confused the horse. So maybe it's not as good as I thought.
Is that one of those reverse key races, Caleb?
Yeah, kind of like a negative key race.
Yeah, negative key. Yeah.
But yeah, let's. So you guys were talking about race 3 here a little bit. I mean, in race 2 I like the 9, but I don't know if there's anything you guys else want to touch on in race 2.
I don't have any good opinions in race 2. I liked the 2, 8, and 9 all roughly equally, which is not very interesting.
Yeah, I was pretty aggressively singled to the 8 there. I realized I'm singling to the chalk, but I had that was one of those races I looked through and I'm like, okay, I hate every single horse in this race, so I'm going to take the best of the ones I hate. Like I didn't have a creative opinion. It was just the horse that I had sort of fastest speed figures and just didn't have. I had less hatred for than the rest of the field.
Well, what if I told you, Mark, that the 8's opened up at 6-1 and is not the favorite in the double?
Ooh.
I mean, sort of feels like a fire sale with this 8, doesn't it? I mean, wasn't a grade 3 last year, optional 80s, and then
or is this just the level this horse needs to be at, right? Like, I mean, you can toss the last one because the horse just hasn't handled sloppy tracks well in the past. Has had a couple of them that's kind of clunked up at, and this is probably the level the horse belongs at. Looks like Eltrus had sort of been just way over this horse's head the last 4 or 5 starts. And I get the fact that I'm not even going to say. You try to say his name, but first off, the claim for the 9 is a real high percentage angle, and I get why the horse is favored, but I just thought the 8 probably getting back to where he belongs.
There's a lot of horses in this race. I thought, you got to toss a few of their last races. Like there's some ugly form. Like the one horse I thought had good form until the trainer switch, which isn't a real trainer switch because Bonnie Lucas is just Wayne Potts' assistant, and then 2 just beyond awful races, but now you get Irad Ortiz up. I mean, did the horse just hate Monmouth, or did something happen off that voided claim? I mean, there's a lot of questions, right? But the horse has some races that would win if you go back to earlier this year. So the same thing with Low Commissioner, coming out of some bad races. Trapezoid coming out of some bad races, but going into a high percentage barn. I mean, a lot of questions here, which is why I was pretty spread because I didn't feel too confidently about anyone showing up other than maybe the 2 horse who seems to be the most consistent runner of the bunch.
So, I mean, couldn't the 1 just be the fact of going from Aqueduct and Parks to a different track, since those seem to be the kind of juiced up tracks there?
I mean, it's possible, but the horse does have some decent form at Belmont, and if you go back even farther.
I mean, if you go back far enough in Mark's PPs, you find some decent form as well. But no, he's just shaking his head. Shout out to Brian Duransky for that one. Yeah, I don't know. I still like the 9 in the spot. Nine's going to be your favorite, though. It looks like based off the.
I'll tell you, if the 8 stays, it looks like the 8's going to go off closer to 7-2 range, which might actually be spot playable for me. I'm amazed Aragona was that far off with lines, though. That's very unlike him. Or is he still on vacation?
No, he's back.
Can't get them all.
I mean, I think the board is more surprising to me. Like, I'm shocked the board is shaped up the way it is. And I think it'll end up being pretty close.
Yeah, I mean, I'm seeing about 7-2 on the 8 and about 2-1 on the 9. That's what it looks like. Your 1 is going to go off at about 5-1. It looks like so.
Yeah, I mean,
it looks like the 2's going to be more like 5-2, which I'm kind of surprised at.
Matthew, like in the 4 and the 6 in here. The 4 is another Bonnie Lucas horse, Cecilia Mike.
I really like Sicilian Mike, but I think this is, I'll take a class dropper here instead of, a horse that's kind of proven that he can sort of win if he catches a soft enough field at this level.
Yeah, I looked at both the 4 and the 6, and I really looked at the 6, getting some pretty good class relief, but just neither one of them like to win. They both have a lot of the hang in them, so I decided I think they're better underneath.
Yeah, you don't get to be 3 for 28 without having quite a bit of hang. And I get it that I did take a 9 for 34 horse, which isn't that much better, but at least does.
I think it's a lot better. 9 for 34, I think, is respectable.
No, yeah, you're right. 25% roughly. So.
Especially in this field.
What about 12 for 54?
That's fine.
Oh,
Uh-oh. Michael's got a spot play.
yeah, Michael's got a spot play, it looks like. Unless he's talking about our spot play being 7, or your spot play being 7-2.
Yeah, I think that's a very fair price on this 8. Oh, Bella Belissa.
In Delaware.
6 at Delaware, race crying for a new face. Let me see if I can pull up Delaware real quick. Oh, today is the big Delaware card, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Let me get over to Delaware.
I think they have a couple of races, but I don't think it's their big like Delaware handicap day. I don't think.
Delaware handicap race 7.
Is it? Oh, I'll be damned. Why does it feel like all the small tracks have their big day on the same day? Like Prairie Meadows, Horseshoe Indianapolis, Delaware.
Look who's riding at Delaware. Race 6.
Oh,
Or race 7-6. Rispoli. The Robert G. Dick Memorial is the race that Mike's looking at. Looks Bella Belissa, the 2 horse for Michael Dickinson. Who's riding? I got no rider.
Sedano.
Carol?
Sedano.
Carol Cedeno?
Yeah. You know me in names, so I can guarantee I got that wrong.
I was like, I can't find Delaware. It's because it's a featured track today. It's actually a stake.
I can throw mine up if you need it, Josh.
No, I got it up already.
You got it. Okay, cool. Yeah, I kind of dig that horse, to tell you the truth. I don't think I'd be shocked if you get 10-1 just looking at the field, but there are definitely a lot of horses in there that really don't like to win races. So I understand where he's coming from, saying, hey, this is a fresh face. This is a horse that, has some recency with that win 2 back at Laurel, going a mile. I don't know if this is maybe a little longer than this one wants to go, but I definitely understand the logic of, that's a fresh race face in a race that there's a lot of horses with a lot of question marks.
I can't believe you're saying that when like your horse, the 10, is in this race.
Temple City Terror is no win machine though.
What race was it that both you and Caleb were all over this fucking horse?
Temple City Terror.
Yeah.
What
race
small
was it?
Track like a year or maybe 2 years ago, but I mean, the horse was like 9-1 or 10-1 in the book, went off like 3-1 or something. I can't remember when that was. Oh, I think that was actually the Delaware race last year.
Yeah,
was it?
Yeah,
because lost to
the one that Delica won.
Yeah,
or maybe it was the Alstall Memorial because they run that on. One of the big days.
Might have been that too. I can't remember.
And Delica won that race too. But yeah, just won a marathon at Churchill Downs, but won it the way everybody was winning. So that might be a good fade actually, since ran with the severe bias there. But yeah, I forgot that this was Delaware's good card. I'm guessing that they had a stable duel contest for it because Mike's looking at it. So yeah, he says a shame that Del Capfield compared to past winners list. I didn't really see.
Looking through it now.
Yeah, I took a quick look. I don't even know who Miss Leslie is, and that's your 2-1 favorite because the Claudio Gonzalez horse. I
wonder about bees and honey in that spot.
Of course you do.
Of course. Wow.
I'm nothing if not predictable.
I want to play the video, but
nobody wants to watch that again.
I mean, Let's Cruise looks like Lone Speed there, right?
I don't know. You're gonna make me actually cap Delaware? Yeah, Let's Cruise does look like your lone speed in there. Battle Bling probably needs a rebound race. But Battle Bling's run some decent races in the past. Just doesn't really like to get her photo taken. I don't know. I'll take the Fresh Face with Bees and Honey, a horse that maybe still has some upside.
I look at Michael's like, me, plus 75% overlay in the stable duel contest.
Ooh, damn.
And Caleb, you didn't get in there? Better. How did you not get in there, Caleb?
I just have such a hard time with that stable duel format. It's just personally just with me, it's not. I just don't do well at it.
It's just this is the time of year where there's other things I'd rather handicap, and it's hard for me to dedicate time to handicap a full card for a track I don't really play or don't really like. So right now the Delawares, the Prairie Meadows, the Horseshoe Indianapolis is I'll take a look at some of the features, but I don't have the time to put in to actually handicap the full card and put a lineup in.
I actually I would say Monday Colonial opens, and I may actually take a look at some stable duel for Monday with Colonial, just because I've done well there with that format in the past, because Colonial's notorious for having horrible morning lines, and you can just play the game of find the horse with a terrible morning line and play it.
Are they running at night or is it still during the day?
During the day, it sucks. It kills me. I mean, that product was amazing when they were running it under the lights. The lights are there. They've just decided they don't want to. I don't understand it at all. You need a good summer night track, and being on turf is just an added bonus. I mean, look at the handle that
Canterbury.
Well, yeah, there you go. Canterbury is great. I was trying to think of Meadowlands. Look at the handle Meadowlands turf does, during the Saratoga season. They do really well. So I really wish Colonial would be a night track again. But
I know I was really frustrated because Mark and I know like to play it at night. Caleb, I know you've played it before, and so we were like, yeah, we're gonna do some streams for Monday, Tuesday night, when we usually have nothing going on, and then we realized oh, they're not running at night. But
I mean, Delta stopped running at night. Obviously, Hurricane helped that along. Colonial stopped. Asinobia does crazy handle, given the fact of
but those are in loonies, all right? That's different.
I mean, you don't get much more bottom of the barrel, but
Yeah, I was actually curious what Matthew Bickey thought of, because I know he's a huge contest player, so I was curious what he thought of Stable Duel, but it looks like he doesn't like it much. I honestly, I don't want to speak for Michael, but it's just one of those things where it's you kind of plug your nose on the format because of the overlays. But I don't know, Caleb seems to have figured it out somehow. So
Michael's at the top of that leaderboard every time I look. So,
but I mean, Caleb, you already mentioned that you were not a smart man on stream today. So if you could figure it out, I think anyone can.
You would think so.
But I don't know. We got about 7 minutes to post to the second race. But you said, Mark, there was something in the third race you really liked?
Yeah, no, I was really the 2-horse Photon in the third race. I was super interested in. You're getting Kelly Breen up. I always find, I don't want to say too much bad stuff about Kelly on stream, but he's a trainer that always sort of scares me. He seems to have live mounts where kind of ever he goes, even though not as much as maybe in years past. But when he goes to Jose Ortiz, it's a very, very high percentage move for him. Horse seems to be working really well. That last 35-4 bullet at Belmont is, second of 31, pretty damn fast work. And if I'm going to get a little bit of a price on connections all the way around that I like, and I think are pretty live normally, I think Photon makes a fair bit of sense in here.
Caleb,
I like your two. I already talked about the one who I prefer to the two, but I think they're both must-use kind of horses for me. I kind of like this race because I'm not totally enamored with either of the favorites, the 7 or 8. The 7, I mean, this horse is really not bred to be a turf horse, so it wouldn't surprise me if she jumps up and improves on the switch to dirt. I don't know what they were doing, put her on turf twice. The 8 horse is one who I won't have anywhere, though. I mean, this is a horse that is very content to run second no matter what the distance or what the track or what the track conditions. So I'm just going to bank on the fact that despite the figures, being best in the field, that I think some of these firsters could be live, or maybe the 7 jumps up on the surface switch. But this 8 horse won't be anywhere on my tickets.
Yeah, the 8 is the quintessential key under in an exact 5 of 6 is finished 5 of 6 races is finished second. So,
What about the 6 on the jumping class?
I like the 6. I don't
like
think
the
it's a
6
jump
as well.
going from open company to New York breds, especially in this field. And I looked it up when Jose Camejo, I guess that's how you say his name.
Yep.
Sends he's only sent like 11 horses to Naira in the last 5 years, and of those 11, he won 5, I believe. So
this year at Belmont, he is 2 of 3, and the one horse that didn't win ran second. Who was this horse? Eli Dancer. He's been absolutely crazy.
Wasn't this horse Eli Dancer, but.
Or I'm sorry. Yeah, that's right. I'm looking at the wrong.
But yeah, I mean, he's been live. Irad's been up on him for a $24 winner. So
yeah, I think Irad was up on all 3 of those mounts, if I remember right.
So yeah.
And it wouldn't surprise me if this 6 Eli Dancer opens at 6-5 with all the they knew money.
What are the doubles looking like here?
Doubles are good if you're not going into some of the horses I just said I don't like. I mean, doubles into the 1 and 2 are excellent, and they're not terrible into the 6 either.
Wow, actually, I'm going to fire a double here. Try to get into that 2.
Yeah, I'm going to kind of wait till the next race. I did play a pick 4 here, but I'm going to wait till the next race and probably win bet the 1, or if the doubles into dynamic 1 ain't worth much, I'll play a double into that. But I'm too spread in this race to really play a double with any.
Yeah, I just fired an 8-9 over 2 double because I'm getting paid very well there. So, and I have a little win money on the 8 as well.
I can tell Josh is getting a late last minute double in. But Mark, did you look at race 6? I'm just curious.
I did.
That's the race I probably had the hardest time with, and I'm very grateful that it kind of falls between all the sequences and I won't have to play it. But did you have any strong opinion there? Because I have no idea who wins that race.
I singled the 6 in my picks, but I think I ended up singling. Let me just double check and make sure this was the race that I'm remembering.
You singled the 6? That doesn't sound right. It's not the favorite.
I know, right? Scary, isn't it? I think this is one of those races that I just absolutely hate it. Who's going to be your favorite in this race? I mean, you are getting November Rain, the 8 dropping in class here. I don't know. I went through this race and I obviously noticed Barnes real hot, so I thought the 1 made some sense as well. But I had a really hard time with it, just like you did. I thought it was a really flat race and sort of ended up. Gomez had been really well 2 back on that horse, and you're getting him back here. So thought it was an interesting spot. But again, I probably won't. It's one of those races I know I didn't spend a huge amount of time on because it was between the sequences and I didn't really dig into it. But I thought the 6 was interesting there.
Yeah, I didn't have the 6 anywhere. I thought this race feels like the Victory Ride to me, just a cheaper version. I thought the 4, 5, and 6 all kind of had to go, and then potentially the 8 with Rosario had to go as well. I was looking for off the pace runners. I ended up on the 1 and 7, but I had a hard time here, which is why I asked.
Yeah, I had the wrong track queued up. I mean, I don't know how that 6 sits a trip, but yeah, I mean, 1 makes a ton of sense. It's also one of these. I mean, it's a lot of these sort of allow it. These horses that have been beating each other are beating each other up at an allowance company for a long period of time, and you're trying to figure out, okay, whose day is it today? Who gets the right setup? Who gets the right trip? And I think it's hard, right?
Agreed.
Looks like Michael found us through the Discord. Thank you for checking it out, Michael. This is something new for us doing Saturday mornings, but something we're going to try and do, I think, at least through the summer while we have the big tracks running. So.
Yeah, this coming Saturday should be interesting with me trying to live stream from the tracks. So should be highly entertaining.
I took Thursday and Friday off next week. So, Mark, if you want to try and do something one of those days, we can figure it out and pilot it. So, I was looking really, really hard through the like I was looking confused because I was trying to figure out how to play this double because I liked 4 horses in the next race, and I just decided to cut one of the short prices. So I'm doubling into the 6 next race with this 9, pretty pressed, and then I'm using your guys' first time starters in the smaller ticket. So I'm 1x to the 1 and the 2, and then I'm 3x to the 6.
Yeah, I will say if anybody's going to be up at Saratoga any weekend throughout the meet, feel free to ping me, hit me up. I'm on track basically every day they run. So
I think we've talked about this, Mark. What if you're putting together a double? Like, what are you looking for? Like, as far as return? Like, I know it's not hard and fast, but like, where's the point where like you're like maybe you're going like single into like 3 horses and you're trying to like Dutch it? Where's the point where you're like, yeah, this is not worth it?
if I have a really strong opinion on the single and then I'm into like 3 and I'm spot playing, yeah, I mean, if I can get that sort of, you know, 4-1, 5-1 sort of a range, I'm okay with that sort of a play. I guess there's always that combination of how strong are your opinions versus what are the prices you're getting paid for. I have no problems if I find, oh, geez, I like these 2 horses and I'm just getting a big double payout trying to leverage that up. But it's so situational. It's hard to put I always am targeting this type of a return.
Yeah, I don't ever look at it like I want 4-1 or 5. I mean, it's just relative to what I think the likelihood of that, outcome occurring is. If I'm taking, Josh's 9 horse here into, the 6 horse next race, I mean, I would probably need, 8-1, something like that, 10-1 maybe. But if I'm taking the fucking 7 horse here into Josh's 6 horse next race, I mean, I might bet, if I think the 7 can win, I mean, it's a different number, and just relative to what I think the likelihood is. Like, I think the doubles to both the first time starters next race are too high, so I would have doubles going into that if I was playing that here. But it's not like I think they need to be 5-1 or 10-1. I just think that 30-1 or whatever there is right now is way too high.
Yeah, I mean, and that's sort of my logic here. I played both the 8 and the 9, who I think are your 2 shortest prices. Well, your first and your third shortest price on the board here, into the 2, and it's because I'm getting 50-1 and 30-1 on those payouts, and I just think that's way, way, way too high given the likelihood of win. So
surprised that the 2 took this much money.
I am as well. That's almost feels like they knew money.
I mean, I thought he'd be 7-2, so it's not like he's way shorter than I thought, but.
I always love when Trackus is showing your horse in the parking lot.
Oh, yeah.
What's your horse here, Josh?
The 9.
Oh, okay.
I didn't have the 3 on the lead. I thought the 9 would get it, but I'm not too worried yet.
Briz really liked the 3. I mean, said the 3 had the best early pace last race, but this 8 looks...
8 looks dangerous here, yeah. 4-1's a good price on the 8.
Yeah, I'm very happy with my price on the 8.
Did you win bet, Mark?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man, this 8 is... No, I'm not going to mark this one.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I'm not saying a thing here. There's 2's trying to come and get him. Oh, come on, hold on. Am I going to get nailed at the wire here?
I think you're crown.
Think I am?
No matter what, I think Imbriali is going to say photo, so...
Well, I mean, that's exactly how I thought it looked on paper, so, I mean, it's just one of those, and I think that's something that we probably don't harp on enough. I really like that 8 at 2-1. I thought that horse was a single at 2-1. Well, I just was able to bet it and get 4-1. That's why Mutel pots are great, because you can have an opinion and it can be against what other people were saying, and you get paid. So
yeah, but if it was 4-1, you wouldn't have liked it as much.
Well, you're not wrong. Okay, you're not wrong.
But no, good pick.
So after we gave a lot of crap to Aragona about his line, he was spot on.
Well, yeah, that's why I'm like, I feel like he had it right. I feel like the public kind of got that one wrong.
The public had it wrong, and then, like, and as horse players, that's what we should be doing: finding spots where we go, oh, hey, the public has this wrong.
Yeah, but the morning line maker's supposed to guess what the public does, not
Is he
import
really?
his opinion.
I think I've heard morning line makers have a philosophical difference. Is it I'm supposed to be guessing what the public puts this horse off at live, or is it I'm supposed to be putting what I think the horse should be on the board? It's based on its chances of winning. And I've heard both ways. So
I mean, I definitely think it's the former, and I think that's what most try to do. But yeah, I mean, this was one that I guess it's not that the public had it wrong. I'm surprised the public went that heavy on the 9. Is maybe a better way to put that.
I was as well. Yeah, I very much was as well.
Thanks, guys. Call me Joe Q Public.
I mean, on a large enough sample size, the public is consistently right at ranking horses.
All right. Well, I think that's going to do it for us here. Let us know what you guys think. We're gonna, like I said, we're gonna try and do this. Hopefully, with Del Mar and with Saratoga coming up, we'll have more stuff to talk about. We'll have some different sequences to go through. We'll still be doing our Thursday night streams. Mark's gonna be on site a lot, so we'll probably be doing some videos and stuff like that. I know Caleb and I will be up for Alabama week at Saratoga. But check us out at ontherwronglead.com. Obviously, our Twitter handles are all here. You can check us out at @wrong_lead. And then, make sure you check out AM Wager if you don't have an account yet. If you're able to, we get a little deposit match there, and it helps us out a little bit. And then, I don't know what else you got going on this weekend, Mark.
This weekend, nothing much. I mean, closing day for Belmont tomorrow, so I will be taking a look at some of the Mandos, probably playing the pick 6. No, play a little disc golf this afternoon, getting stuff done. Obviously, Saratoga starts up this coming week, so I sort of have to get all the stuff I need to get done for the next 8 weeks done this weekend, so that I can, be my normal degenerate self at the track.
Caleb?
This weekend, I'll be doing Belmont today, obviously, in the cross country. Those are pretty fun bets and a good card. Closing day at Belmont doesn't do as much for me if there's no carryovers. I mean, mandatories without a carryover are just regular sequences for me. So I may look at it. I may not. I got to take care of some stuff around the house. And then, next weekend, I'll be at a bachelor party. So I'll be out. But, I'm excited for Saratoga and Del Mar starting up. Especially, I prefer Saratoga to Del Mar, but right now, I'm still happy with Belmont, whereas I cannot bet that trash product over at Losal. So I'm actually probably happier that Del Mar is coming, even though I prefer Saratoga, just because it's such a step up from what they have out in California right now.
Can I interest you into some Prairie Meadows tonight?
You may.
It's Iowa Derby night. So actually, it's funny. I saw Rattle and Roll was double entered into the Indiana and Iowa Derby, but he's going to be running.
I thought it was funny. The Iowa Derby is a listed stakes, but the Iowa Oaks is a grade 3.
There's been some street band, I think, came out of the Iowa Derby.
Iowa Oaks is consistently a better race.
Iowa Oaks, yeah. So Jay saying just play the inside at Los Al. I thought it was the outside.
Yeah, I thought it was the outside. Isn't Lars still in effect?
No, they put in a temporary permanent rail configuration now. It's been a lot different the last 2 years.
Oh,
So they fixed the Lars, huh?
That explains a lot. I mean, not really, but yeah, I'll probably take a look at some Belmont, and I'll probably degen at some Prairie Meadows tonight after a couple of bourbons. So, but for our boy Brian, Caleb, Mark, I'm Josh. We will catch you guys later.